Hey guys, welcome back to our channel. Now in some of our previous episodes we've been talking about this high tensile wire and you've seen a bunch of clips of me putting it up. But what exactly is this stuff? Well, in today's episode we're going to show you. There's a wide variety of fences out there these days. You've got the classic chain link fence, you've got the nice country picket fence, wrought iron fences, think New Orleans with all those balconies, another classic barbed wire fence, and for those of you sports fans, you got your Olympic fencing.
Move it along, hon.
Yes, dear. High tensile wire is a very strong, small wire. It's been around for over 50 years, but it's still relatively new to the United States. If you really want to go back to the beginning, it pretty much all started in 1855 when an Englishman named Henry Bessemer invented what is now called the Bessemer process. It was a process that made steel available in large quantities for use in industry at a relatively affordable price. This had never been done before. High tensile wire is a product that emerged from this process. The biggest difference in high tensile wire is the carbon content. Wire with a lower carbon content tends to bend a lot easier. You see this a lot in electrical fence wire. It's also prone to stretching and sagging. High tensile wire is made from a higher carbon content. The higher carbon content makes the wire stronger. And because it's stronger, it can be made smaller diameter, but still be stronger than the low carbon wire. High tensile wire has a lot of advantages over other types of wire. Although the cost of the wire is a little bit less than, say, barbed wire or standard electric fence. You can run high tensile wire over greater distances, so you're using less posts. Fewer posts means less money out of your pocket. It's lighter weight, so it means that it's easier to handle when you're putting it in. And unlike low carbon wire, which can sag and stretch, high tensile wire can remain tight for a long time. That means lower maintenance. If a tree falls on high tensile wire, just get that tree out of there and that fence will snap right back into place. It's also safer than barbed wire. You don't have to worry about getting stabbed when you're handling it. And just like standard electrical wire, high tensile wire can be electrified. A lot of people are still using barbed wire. In fact, that's why we used it originally, because that's what I was used to. That's what was common in my area. But high tensile wire is definitely becoming more popular. And for its advantages, that's why we decided to go with it to fence in our bison. If you're putting up a high tensile fence, you're going to need a few tools first, such as a crimping tool, a hammer, a wrench, marker, drill, crimps, fencing tool, fencing staples, a ratchet tool, and a tape measure. Some other items that might come in handy are insulating tubes, pre-cut insulating tubes, wire strainers, and tension springs. You're also going to want to get a spinning jenny. Like the name says, it spins and helps you pay out the wire when you're putting up your fence. It comes in several parts, a stake that goes in the ground, and yes, it definitely helps to have a hole in the ground already. I use wooden blocks on mine because I noticed without them, it would spin the stake and slowly twist it into the ground, and that doesn't work too well. You load your wire onto the jenny, put it on the stake, and you're in business. Now that you got your tools all lined up, you might as well start putting your ratchets on your springs. It's a pretty simple process. Now, I've already started this fence, obviously, and I put in the first 3 lines of wire for a couple reasons. One, the first wire, the bottom wire, tends to be the hardest one to put in because that's the one you gotta kind of line up not only on the post, but also along the ground as well. Because you might have a rise or dip, so you just gotta kind of eyeball it. Not only so it's functional, but, aesthetically pleasing as well. So we're going to do exactly what we did here already. We're going to wrap the wire around, we're going to put it through the sleeve, and then we're going to crimp. Now you can see I've already pre-marked our spots for where our wire is going to be, and I just used a magic marker for that. And that gives us our starting point, and then we can start running the wire through. And in this case, I mean literally through. For some of the other posts, such as this one, we just went with fence staples. Now this is where it comes in handy to have the first couple of strands already in place, because now all I had to do was measure up from the wire 12 inches up and 12 inches up. There is no mark above that because the next strand of wire is actually going to go over the brace. So the lines we're running, this is pretty much where they terminate here. They're connecting onto this tree. Now one thing I will admit as a newbie fencer and bison rancher, and that is putting the spring and ratchet into the line. Now if you look down below, you notice that the spring is on this side and the ratchet's on this side. The problem I learned is that as you're taking up slack, where do you think that turns and eats into this here? So what I figured out was, why not just flip it, have this end with the spring and the ratchet here. That way you're constantly eating into your nice long line there, and you're not going to come back and start rolling over your crimped area. there you can see the crimps after crimping. That's pretty solid. That's not going anywhere. We hope. So for now, I'm just gonna temporarily hook the wire in there and give it a little twist so it holds it in place while we go work on the other end. Now on this end, we're just gonna pay out a little bit of wire so we have enough to get around that main post. Now that our crimping is done, we can go back on the other side and tighten her up. So now if you look, there's 2 notches on this spring here. This tells you that you've got the right amount of tension on the spring. That's the whole purpose of the spring, is so that you get the right amount of tension. This first notch coming out here is 125 pounds of tension. If you can see that second notch in there right at the tip of my finger, that's 250. So anywhere in between is where you want to be. And you can see now that's got good tension on it. As one rancher told me, you want them almost like guitar strings. So that is one more ratchet in our fence, one more line of wire. We've only got 3 more to go to get this fence done. Well, that pretty much wraps it up. We hope you enjoyed the episode, and if you haven't done so already, hit that little subscribe button down below and subscribe to our channel. Show your support. It's what motivates us to make more videos. We'll see you guys next time when we do a little more work on the fences, make some more improvements to the ranch, and basically take care of these bison. We'll see you next time.